A reading from the book of Sirach. The Lord is a God of justice, who knows no favorites. Though not unduly partial toward the weak, yet he hears the cry of the oppressed. The Lord is not deaf to the wail of the orphan, nor to the widow when she pours out her complaint. The one who serves God willingly is heard. His petition reaches the heavens. The prayer of the lowly pierces the clouds. It does not rest till it reaches its goal, nor will it withdraw till the Most High responds, judges justly and affirms the right. And the Lord will not delay. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the second letter of St. Paul to Timothy. Beloved, I am already being poured out like a libation, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have competed well, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. From now on, the crown of righteousness awaits me, which the Lord, the just judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearance. At my first offense, no one appeared on my behalf, but everyone deserted me. May it not be held against them. But the Lord stood by me and gave me strength, so that through me the proclamation might be completed, and all the Gentiles might hear it. And I was rescued from the lion's mouth. The Lord will rescue me from every evil threat, and will bring me safe to his heavenly kingdom. To him be glory forever and ever. Amen. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus addressed this parable to those who were convinced of their own righteousness and despised everyone else. Two people went up to the temple area to pray. One was a Pharisee, and the other was a tax collector. The Pharisee took up his position and spoke this prayer to himself. O God, I thank you that I am not like the rest of humanity, greedy, dishonest, adulterous, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, and I pay tithes on my whole income. But the tax collector stood off at a distance and would not even raise his eyes to heaven, but beat his breast and prayed, O God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, the latter went home justified, not the former. For whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted. The Gospel of the Lord. This gospel passage is one of those ones that I think we hear it differently because we have heard it too many times. We hear it differently because we've heard it too many times. In the Catholic Church, we would not see things the same way. We have to put ourselves back in that time to really appreciate what's going on. So we have the Pharisee who comes in and stands in the front pew. In the Catholic Church, you can almost always be assured that if you need a seat, it's in the front pew. People today don't see sitting at Mass the same way people did then. What was the pride of place back then? The front. It was culturally accepted to sit in the front. It was culturally accepted to be the person who sat in the front and actually prided that, oh, those are the ones who get to sit in the front. Those are the ones who are able to sit in the front. They are holy enough to sit in the front. You come into a Catholic Mass, and usually it's like, oh, they showed up late enough that they had to sit in the front. We have a culture built up that very much avoids sitting in the front. We have a culture built up that very much avoids being seen, doing good things, which, as the world goes, there's a certain pendulum that swings back and forth. You go from one side to the other, and where does the church call us to? A phrase I love is, the truth is in the middle. The truth is in the middle. There are some people, if we really take a step back and ask, what is the Pharisee doing, that are sitting in the back pew who do the same. Not saying everybody in the back pew is guilty of this. But honestly, what was the Pharisee doing? He was saying, thank God I'm not like those other people. And it's important to fill in the blank. Who are the other people that we all end up doing this in some regard. Who are the people you say, thank God I'm not like? Sometimes today it would be people sitting in the back pew. Again, I'm not saying you all in the back are doing this, but saying, thank God I'm not like the front pew people that think they're all holy. Thank God I'm not like them. There could still be people in the front pew who are doing the same thing as the Pharisee. But there could be people who sit in the front pew who are more like the tax collector, saying, I have to sit in the front because I can't look at all these other people, and God, just have mercy on me, a sinner. God, just have mercy on me, a sinner. The key piece of it all is really not judging others, but also knowing what measure is God going to measure me with. To not judge others and to know what measure God is going to measure me with. What does it look like to not judge others? Looks a little bit like this. Somebody shows up on Christmas or Easter Mass. Do we welcome them? Or do we look and say, thank God I'm not one of those creasters? That is the official theological term. No. But it's a term utilized. People who show up at Christmas and Easter. Thank God I'm not one of them. Or do you walk up to them and say, I'm happy to see you. Welcome. Come on in. Sit in my pew. I'll find someplace else to sit. People get very upset when somebody takes their pew. Thank God I'm not like those who take somebody else's pew. I have a reserve seat. Do you really look at other people in a judgmental way? A lot of us like to think we don't, but we do. Sometimes it's a matter of, look at those people who pray the rosary all the time. They think they're so holy because they do that. Sometimes we actually flip it, and we actually, as a culture, don't support the people who really push themselves on in the faith. And we judge people because they're trying to be holy. Oh, like that's the worst thing a Catholic could do. They try to be holy. Sometimes we judge people for not being holy. Sometimes we judge people for being holy. It's like when we talk about somebody on the road. If somebody's driving slower than us, they're an idiot. If they're driving faster than us, they're a maniac. We are judgmental in matters of faith. We are judgmental in matters of driving. What is God really going to judge us with? This simple truth. He's not going to judge us as man does. But God looks at our hearts. Man looks out and says, are you doing what I do? And if not, you're either an idiot or a maniac. God looks at your heart and says, what are you capable of? What are you capable of? What are you capable of doing when it comes to loving your neighbor? I don't care if you're meeting all the 10 commandments. What are you doing that you're capable of compared to what you're capable of at loving your neighbor? I don't care if you're giving 10% or not to the parish. That'll make the finance council a little nervous. But what are you doing that you are capable of? Jesus spoke of the person who gave most in the temple was the widow who gave her widow's mite, those 2 small coins. Are you doing what you're capable of in loving God and loving your neighbor? Don't look at anyone else. Don't look at the person who's less holy than you. Don't look at the person who's more holy than you. Just look at yourself and know this is how God will judge you. Are you doing what you can? I can say that as your pastor and as your priest, my answer almost every day is no. But I'm trying. I can say every day my answer is no. But I'm trying. I'm working each day to be at that point where I can say yes. And I invite you to join me each day and simply say, like the tax collector, "Oh God, be merciful to me, a sinner."